Hello and welcome to Racers Now for the Monday night show with SD fresh off a £16 haircut on a Monday evening. Here to look at some Ante post racing for the weekend as usual. We're right in the thick of the jump season now. But first, a little twist this weekend. We're going to reflect on what was a pretty massive weekend in the jump season. Featuring on Saturday, SD, the Betfair Chase, won by Grey Dawning on the bridle, as I said it would do. Nice and easy 6-5 winner for me.
You sound like one of those people, who they go mad. They go mad when they have a 6-5 winner. I think you were still down on the day, weren't you?
I think it's more satisfying, SD, because it's more satisfying because you was here saying, "Oh, why are you putting up 6-5 shots?" Well, the one you put up was pulled up, and the one I put up won. And I don't even like jump.
It's not the way we do things on this channel. If you want to go 6-5, find bloody Joe Bloggs up the road who just does 6-5 shots. I thought it was. I mean, it won. Well done. You keep piping your own trumpet.
No, I wouldn't usually go over the top with short price favourites.
Well, you are doing.
I am
really,
giving you a reason.
Being very garrulous.
A reason why I am being very gallant, whatever it is, because you was bang against it. Oh, you can't tip up 6.
I wasn't banging. No.
You was really trying to kick me on it. So now that it's won, as easy as you
like. All right. Next subject.
Okay, great. What did you think of the Betfair SD? It was a poor renewal, I thought, let's be honest.
I thought Grey Dawning was panting a lot after the race. I was by the winner's enclosure. He probably had a harder race than you think.
Yeah, that's
they went to gallop. Obviously 80 Kilo didn't run its race. I am mystified why they are going for the Welsh National with 80 Kilo. You pull up and then you go to the Welsh National. Makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. You would just find, a nice, easy 3-mile conditions race. I mean, give it a little bit of a break. I mean, she says it didn't have a hard race. I mean, I suppose you can't have it both ways when we're saying you should run the horses. But, after a pull-up, would you go to the Welsh National? I don't think so. Obviously, dear old Royal Pagay, didn't he run well? Didn't he run excellent? Excellent. In terms of form, it doesn't mean a lot, is the answer to the question.
No, and while we're on what should usually be Gold Cup horses, not that we're previewing a race that's 5 months away, shall we mention the Irish race, SD, or have you got no interest?
I think it's pertinent. It is pertinent. It was a cracking race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. The winner went off at basically 2-mile pace, steadied it. Factor File really should have got to him, and he
went short. Factor File, I think he went.
Yes. Gaelic Warrior. Yeah. Well, you could see why, and then Gaelic Warrior pulled away from him. Now, the obvious next thing is the King George. The only thing I would say, though, I mean, Willie said one of them will go to Kempton. Yada yada yada. If you're backing a horse at 6-4 for the King George, you've got to be very confident about the opposition. More of that in a minute. B, you better be bloody certain it'll run. I'm not certain. Obviously, he's from Florida Pearl in the race in the past, but they tend to. You'd be surprised. They tend to migrate a little. Well, you wouldn't be surprised. They tend to migrate a little bit further westwards than Kempton.
Yes, although is he not the 2-time back-to-back British champions trainer, and obviously the King George will show.
Well, there's all this talk of the championship in October. I mean, Dan, I suspect Dan will win it this year, won't he? He's all out to win it.
He is. That might not be enough quality-wise, but no. What I would say is the King George. They've got the what used to be the Lexus Chase over in Ireland at the same time, haven't they? Of the same point of the year. It's one of those. Mullins will have runners. Will they be his top draw runners like Gaelic Warrior or Factor File? Quite possibly not. My question is, SD, that a horse that won a Gold Cup by 6 lengths on his very next start has gone off 18-1 in a Grade 1. Now, I know that the John Durkan is probably too short for I know what the way you're thinking, but bloody hell, the market told you what to expect with.
He might not have been fit. I'm not terribly. Again,
Yeah, which isn't good
he
enough
ran.
for a Grade 1.
Bloody hell, are you a vet? You know, the form book tells you that the horse is a stayer. He barely moved in the Gold Cup betted after it.
Yeah, so a horse can get beat 53 lengths on his seasonal
over a
reappearance in
trip
Grade
7
1
furlongs short of the Gold Cup.
and still be 4-1 favourite for the Gold Cup, or second favourite, whatever.
Well, if that's your opinion,
I just thought it was interesting.
Yes,
that's all. I mean, he did also run in the John Durkan last year and got nowhere near winning as well.
Yeah.
So while we're on top level chasers, shall we talk about the Grade 2 from Saturday, which was...
No, can we talk about the jukebox man first?
Okay, so no problem.
Worth.
Yeah,
he won
that
very
was in
well.
the graduation chase where he was backed, like losing was out with a question at Haydock.
I mean, you know, the second needed it. Well, the second was told that he would need it.
Yes,
he did. He looked fit enough in the paddock, Iroko, but again, they've one race in mind, and this is the way horses are being campaigned. I think the proximity of the third and the fourth devalues the form. They didn't go a breakneck gallop by any means. We learned he can jump and he's fit and well, but I think some of the reactions after the race were overreactions.
Yes, I would agree with that in terms of talking about the jukebox man. Where we see him next, not too sure. Are they going to go to...
What do you mean, you're not too sure? I mean, it's absolutely nailed on. He'll go to the King George.
Okay, great. Well, that will add to the King George field. Right, great. Okay, so are we going to go to Ascot as well then for that 1965 chase where Ile Francais was out the back of the telly? Boom or bust?
Yeah.
On this occasion, he was bust.
Well, he very often busts, doesn't he? I think the performance from Jango Baie, the time was really, really good, by the way. Exceptional. And he runs like a horse who'll be suited by further. He's nailed on to running the King George. That leap at the last.
Ping.
Beautiful. Oh, it was ping. It was very much ping. And I thought that had King George winner written all over it. I'll be honest with you. And I think he's a bet at 7-2.
Right, okay.
I backed him. I backed him at 5. I backed him at 4. I had a little bit more on at 7-2. I would go as low as 3. I think he'll be a lot shorter on the day, and I think he'll win. I think he's a very, very talented individual. He's unexposed, obviously over the trip, isn't he? But he's very, very. He's very good. He was very good on, Gidley Park ran. I mean, it certainly wasn't. I didn't think Gidley Park could make the running, but he ran. He ran really, really well. He won so well. I think he'll win the King George. There you go.
There you go. Anti-post for December the 26th. I'm not meaning to kick you, SD, but we do need to talk about Ile Francais. What do you make of it?
Well, he ran deplorably. Look, we know what a good horse he is. He should have won the King George last year, shouldn't he? He was ridden far too aggressively. So we know he's a very good horse. But what we also know is these bad performances are coming with more and more regularity. Whether he even run at Kempton, I don't know. And how he'll run, I don't know. But you wouldn't be bloody confident with him, would you?
Yeah, fair enough. Just last word on Ascot for the Ascot hurdle. They had their Grade 2 Woodoo well backed or well supported throughout the week. Really went off 6-5. Celtic Dino was the one that was well backed on the day, but that came in second. What do you make of that form?
I don't think we've got great staying hurdlers, have we? One thing I think is worth pointing out.
Yep.
Interesting. This Cabral de Matan who won the.
That was
3 hurdle.
That
it absolutely washed up. And straight after the race, and it wouldn't take that much, by the way, for this horse to be a contender. He's about 20. He's short enough. If he'd been 33, I'd have had my first festival back. But it wouldn't take that much for him to be a Stayers hurdle form. Now, I think there are legitimate questions to be asked. I mean, if I own one of these horses with Nichols,
you said it before. You said it last week. Yeah, you did say it.
This thing has gone up in trip. Dan's identified he wants trip. He's suddenly improved probably 10 or 12 pounds for it.
At least.
So, I mean, if I was the owner, I'd be saying, well, what the bloody hell was Nichols doing? Anyone?
Yeah. But he's just...
It doesn't give you a great level of confidence in him, does it?
No. And to be fair, you called it last week. I mean, it's not... the most original opinion out there, but you called it last week that Skelton's a better trainer than Nichols. They were the words you said.
Yeah, I mean, this is not to, take away any... Nichols has been great, He's had Cato Star, he's had Denman, you'd see more business. I don't know, a lot of it is to do with fashion sometimes, you think, and you think, well, he's not terribly fashionable at the moment. But when a horse goes 3 furlongs up in trip and improves to that level, I think it's legitimate enough to question what the previous trainer was doing with him.
Yep, fair enough. Right, shall we start looking forwards then, Steve? We've had 10 minutes of...
Yes, we'll look forwards. We'll look forwards. Hereford tomorrow.
Yes. So where do we want to go this weekend? We've got the Fighting Fifth at Newcastle. And we've got the Hennessy at Newbury. Where do you want to go first?
Do you know what? If it was up to me, we wouldn't preview the bloody Fighting Fifth.
Why is that so?
Oh, I wonder why. Because we're going to have another week of Willie, won't he? Willie jump, Willie run. What's going to happen? Yada, 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 yada. I've purposely not mentioned his name, but we know which horse I'm on about.
Okay, well, I will have to. So there's 5 in there. One of them was supplemented today. Was it Nemean Lion was supplemented?
Yeah, they're playing for place money, Kerry Lee. I mean...
So currently, the market is the new Lion that we know won that Turner's at the festival, 13-8 now, owned by JP McManus. Constitution Hill, we know all about him. And he's got as many Fs in his recent form figures as he has ones. Amsterdam's in there for Mullins in that same ownership as last year's winner. Etc. Golden Ace is in there, the champion hurdler from the chaotic champion hurdle earlier this year, wasn't great at Weatherby, let's say that, to say the very least. And trying to play up some place money. Kerry Lee's putting the Nemean Lion in there, but he's 66-1 any price you like. 13-8 the Lion, 7-4 the Hill, 3-1 the Amsterdam. It is a interesting enough race if they all
it's interesting. Yeah, look, it's an interesting race. I think we'll deal with Constitution Hill first. He's fell twice, and he's been very disappointing once in his last 3 runs.
Yeah,
if you're backing horses at that price, you want a lot going for you, and you don't want to be sort of irking back through the archives to see what a brilliant horse he was. He's captured the public's imagination. Fair enough. Nicky's running him, fair enough. But I will just say I hope he doesn't fall, because it would just be a terrible look for racing. Who knows what will happen? But he wouldn't be my idea of a bet at 7-4, certainly.
I come at the jumps game at a different angle than USD because it's a passing interest. Just what struck me, a couple of things about Constitution Hill. I was more disappointed. I think his last 3 races, or his 3 races, 3 most recent races, he was most disappointing in the one race that he did finish out of those 3. He fell in the champion hurdle, we know that. He fell at Aintree. He was 5th of 6 at Punchestown. He was shocking that day. He looked finished. He looked finished to me. And many others. That's not the most original thing you're ever going to hear. Also, for a horse that is apparently so talented and apparently the best hurdler they've seen since XYZ, this century, whatever, and get so many column inches and so many videos from Matt Chapman, Nicky Anderson, etc., he's only won 1 champion hurdle. And you know where that hits home? There's a lift at Cheltenham. Lovely lift. And on the inside, it's got the roll of honour of champion hurdle winners. And there's plenty in there that have won multiple. Bouverdere, not the greatest hurdler of all time, 1-2. Constitution has only got 1 next to his name for a horse that's now 8 years old and has had all those things I've said about column inches and hype and talk. It's disappointing.
Yes, I agree. Look, he's won as many champion hurdles as Rock on Ruby. People love it's in this sort of day and age of quick everything straight at your fingertips. People love to think that he's the best hurdler of all time. Well, to be honest with you, Isterbrack is up there in heaven defecating on him at the moment.
Yeah. But I mean, look, it is good that he's still in training, and it is good that they're having a go. But I mean, they're things that should be a given. It's like praising a boxer that gets in a ring and takes a few shots. That's the name.
Oh, I know, but like I say, I just hope he doesn't fall. How old is he now?
8, going on 9.
I mean, so this is realistically gonna be his last year at the top table. Realistically, you don't tend to get 2-mile hurdlers who are up to that sort of class. So it really is a case of now or never come Saturday. I think if he runs disappointingly, they might just pull stumps.
Yeah, but then they have got the option of going in the Ascot Gold Cup, or they're going chasing. They've still got those.
What
options.
Are you going on about?
That's what they always talk. Remember once where Nicky says, "Oh, I might have a go at the Royal Ascot." Yeah,
I think that was a bit tongue in cheek.
Ireland. I know they went to Ireland, but I might go to Ireland and then for the first, while he was still unbeaten, I might go to Ireland. Lost the passport. I might go to Ireland the next year. He was unbeaten, lost the passport. They only went last year because he'd been beaten, and there's basically scraping the barrel. To me, he looked finished at Punchestown when we last saw him. But whether hopefully he can get back. Hopefully it makes it a great race, and it's they're all performing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the other two are especially interesting, and this will probably shape the champion hurdle, won't it? Whichever way this goes, I think fundamentally it's a really interesting race. I think, by the way, I've posted the link on my Twitter page. You can get into Newcastle. I mean, I'm forever slating race courses. I stated it last night on Twitter when Lee Maltus had put up an article I completely disagreed with. Basically, Lee Maltus had seemed to insinuate that racegoers don't like younger racegoers. That isn't the case. The case is racegoers don't like being treated like something off the bottom of your shoe. Now, Newcastle, I think you can get in Premier for 16 and the Grandstand for 14 quid on Saturday. I don't think anybody at all has any issues with that. I think that is well done to Newcastle. It wouldn't be my favourite place to go. I'll not be there. I'll be at Bangor. But well done to them.
I'm glad you're going to Bangor on Saturday. I will speak to you off here about that. Right, the race that you do always normally have a bet in SD is this Rehearsal Chase at Newcastle on this very day.
Do you remember last year? Do you remember?
The changing man was it?
Yeah, I was sat here on a Monday night, absolutely cock-a-hoop, had a wedge on the changing man at 10. It went about 5 on in running, and this Venetia was just get bloody finding and finding. I mean, that was one of the bets that really did up. Bets, when you have as many bets as I have, it takes a bit to upset you,
Yeah, it did go clear. I remember because I got drawn in and backed it as well. Yeah, right. Well, there's 8 entered at this stage. SD, what are you backing?
Well, Hang In There's the key horse. I don't think Hang In There has a chance of winning, by the way. But the way the weights are framed is that several of them, are going to be. Well, what's his official mark?
Hang In There's official mark is 152 for Emma Lavelle, currently 8-1.
Yeah. So several of them are going to be off, very lightweights indeed, if not out the weights. So it'll just be interesting to see if Hang In There runs.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the conditions of this. So he's number 5 in the card, yet carries.
Yeah, the weights aren't out, sir. The weights aren't out. Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
I thought Docpickedme won the Great Yorkshire pretty well. May not have won the Great Yorkshire had what was it called, Walking in the Air stud up. But
I remember, yeah.
I think he'll be I think he'll be there or thereabouts for this. If he's ready, I think 7-1 is a very, very big price in what is not a vintage renewal of the race. Venetia's horse, I must point out, unless it tips down, surely she'll run in the 3 mile 6 with it, because that it stays longer than the mother-in-law. It'll just get outpaced over 3.
Oh,
I think the other one to buy. I think there's a little bit left in the locker with this skeleton horse. I was astonished. I was deafened in silence when I saw this horse wasn't favourite. I mean, you've got Confusion as favourite, who tipped up last week at Haydock and galloped round. I just think there's a little bit more in this mark, and I'm pretty sure Deafening Silence will be favourite come Saturday. I thought it'd be 9-4, 5-2, and he's 100-30. So I think they're both worth backing. We do love a double dip. Very disappointing, by the way. I have pointed this out before, and it hasn't really affected the runners to this degree. But when you've a 3 mile 2, you've got the Hennessy, and you've got the Rehearsal over 3. Now, traditionally, the Rehearsal used to be the week after at Chepstow. I don't have a problem with it being run at Newcastle. It's great for northern racing, but maybe you could run it last week at Haydock. I just think the proximity with the Hennessy, you've got the Beecher next week. There's a lot of these 3 mile chases or around 3 miles for horses to go at. It's suffered in terms of entries. I think most of them will probably run, in fairness.
the age-old problem: too many races, not enough horses across the board. But unfortunately,
I think some of it is race planning as well.
Yeah, some of it is, and that's your expertise. But a lot of it is not.
If it were me, I'd dare I say it, you could get rid of the Rehearsal, and
I think you said this last year. I do think you said this last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for Newcastle, is it, SD?
Yeah.
So we're off to Newbury now, where the Hennessy. God, no, I don't even know what it's called nowadays. I genuinely
just call it the Hennessy.
Yeah,
it really annoys some people when you keep calling it the Hennessy. So we'll call it the Hennessy.
Yeah, I'm not do that. I mean, some of the old traditional names that you cling on to don't quite resonate with me, but the Hennessy is the Hennessy even to me.
A Mackison.
Yeah,
Massey Ferguson.
Yeah,
Schweppes.
Anyway, in the Coral Gold Cup handicap chase that it's now called.
Oh, for God's sake, I was hoping we wouldn't utter the title.
27 entries at the moment, 24 maximum. It's over 3 miles, 2 furlongs, staying chase, Resplendent Grey 6-1, Ante post favourite in there at the moment. And guess who's running? And he's not tipping it. I'm shocked here. The Changing Man is entered at 10-1.
Well, I think he's a chance. I have to say, I think he might just get shot. I want to see if they put some headgear on. I still think this horse has a bit of manoeuvre in the handicap mark. Not as much as he had. He was bloody chipped in at Newcastle last year. But he's got a bit. He's capable. He's certainly capable of winning this. I'd like to see some pieces on or something like that. Maybe not to the extreme of blinkers or a visor, but just something to pique his interest a little.
Running off 143 here, and he got beat at Newcastle that day that we've described off 130.
I mean, the theory was absolutely bang on.
I backed it that day with you.
Yeah. I know that's what's galling about it, because it makes me feel sick now.
Funny. Yeah, okay, on you go. You haven't got a bet, have you, in the Hennessy, to be fair, but you're saying that the Changing Man's got half a chance. You're looking out for if headgear goes on, and it still might on Thursday morning.
Well, I'm looking out for that. I mean, 10-1 anti-posting didn't really excite me that much, but I just want to see how it looks, the final vote. Mullins has got a few in there. I'm sure they all won't run.
Yeah. Also on Saturday, they've got this Pipped at the Post handicap chase. That's what it's called on Oddschecker. You'll find it there.
Yeah.
It's the Jim Joel Memorial Trophy.
Well, why don't they call it the Jim Joel Memorial Trophy, sponsored by Coral, rather than these absolute? I mean, this is another thing that's wrong with racing. These absolute, and you're gonna say, oh, but they pay the sponsorship money. Look, if you call it the Coral Jim Joel Memorial Trophy, Coral's in the name.
Yeah, that's fine.
None of these absolutely crass names. They're awful. They just sound shit.
Right, come on. What are you tipping in it?
Well, General Medrano went to my notebook at Ascot. I thought he ran an absolute screamer first time up, and I thought they would either run at Haydock last week or here this week. Well, they're running here this week. He won this last year. I remember tipping him, actually. I think he went up about 10. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Well done.
I follow you more often, really, but...
Yes. I think everything's on here. I think the mark's fine. The conditions will be fine. He should go very, very well indeed. Very well. Just worth pointing out for Saturday, by the way, the chart I saw, the weather chart, showed this rather vicious area of low pressure just hooking its way in from the west Friday night into Saturday. There's not deluges of rain this week, but that could make things interesting on Saturday.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, good. Where else are we going, SD? Oh, bit of flat action, I think. Is that right?
Yes. I thought this was the bet of the week.
Oh, well, there you go. Listen up, bet of the week. 26 minutes in. There is ITV racing on Friday from Newbury and a couple of races on ITV4 from Southwell, including the listed Churchill Stakes, which used to be at Lingfield. That's now not at Lingfield.
Right. Well, why was it called the Churchill Stakes?
Because that's where he was born, I think.
Yes, he was born very close to Lingfield, but now he's now he's reincarnated himself into Robin Hood.
That's fair enough. Yeah. Talking to Churchill, there used to be a horse called Clemmy that was Churchill's wife, as you will well know, SD, as an avid quizzer. He trained by Aidan O'Brien. I really liked her. I think she won the Cheveley Park, Clemmy. Didn't train on very much though. Are you having a bet in this Golden Rose Stakes?
Yes.
For 6
very easy. I think Marshman is an absolute weapon over 6 furlongs on the all-weather. I think Marshman will go off at 2-1, and I think Marshman will win this with some ease.
And that's why, folks, there's a 1.5 points win. Not very often SD goes to over 1 point in the win column. He's gone to 1.5 points win. Marshman, 7-2, made the case. Nothing more to add.
I think he'll win. I just think he'll absolutely piss in, to be quite honest.
Bet of the week. Think he'll win.
So,
he's a weapon. What more do you need to know?
Weapon. Speaking of things you need to know, friend of Greg's.
There we go. Yes.
Packed coming out of Greg's. Does 82,000 views on Twitter, friend of the channel. He can't be asked going to Wolverhampton tomorrow night, but I think he's... What did he say he was doing? He said he's doing Wetherby Wednesday. I don't know whether it's Thursday. Musselburgh Friday. Newcastle Saturday. I think he's on the rail at Newcastle. I might be wrong. And he'll be at Carlisle on Sunday. And I'll see him on Sunday at Carlisle, where they've got a novice chase with 7 entries.
Yes, at the 5-day stage. Yeah, good. Right, okay. Anything else to add there, SD? You'll be back in the morning as usual.
I think we've had a, it was just, people said it on Twitter, but it was just nice to be at Haydock, or, I dare say it was the same in Ireland or the same at Ascot. When there's proper jump racing on, there was a hell of a buzz around the place. You were there, weren't you? And it wasn't just Haydock, I wouldn't imagine. There's something quite special about looking at staying chasers in cold weather and thinking all's good with the world. So we'll end on a positive, should we?
Yeah, that's fair enough, SD.
That's very rare. Very rare we'll end on a positive. I've not even, somebody's just messaged me on Twitter saying no video tonight, SD. Shane. Well, Shane, watch it to the end. I mentioned you.
We'll see you Thursday.